Hello, friends, and thank you for attending our online flagship event, Revisiting Education 2021. We were extremely overwhelmed by the attendance, and we regretfully apologize to all the visitors who could not be accommodated as the rooms got full. However, we are pleased to bring you this special edition in form of pre-recorded content for your consumption. Before we begin, we humbly request our audience to watch the program till the end and allow us to give you a quick tour on what exactly is IRDI. How does IRDI Studio use multiple intelligence theory and various other tools in shaping a child's career? Making career choices have never been easy. It cannot be walk in the dark, wandering aimlessly in search of light. It is actually laying a strong foundation of a very successful career. We at IIDI Studio assist you do that. Our endeavor is to make career guidance a happy and a confident journey for the child and the parent alike. My name is Aditya Kajrekar, and I am the founder of IIDI Studio. I'm extremely excited presenting to all of you a very special guest, someone who's not just an inspiration, but a great mentor and a truly new age educator. So, without any further ado, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our esteemed guest, Dr. Snehal Pinto. I'm honored and privileged to give you a brief introduction about Dr. Snehal Pinto. She is an extremely passionate educator and is currently serving as a director at the Ryan International Group of Schools. For those who don't know it yet, Ryan Group of Institutions are India's largest privately owned chain of K-12 institutions. Under the mentorship of Dr. Snehal, the Ryan Global School has been listed among the top 10 international schools in India. She has a rich experience of over 20 years in various capacities, including teaching and leadership. A lifelong learner, Dr. Snehal Pinto started as a primary school teacher and moved up the career ladder on numerous leadership roles. She was instrumental in forging the Ryan Penn partnership and collaboration with the College Board to provide higher education opportunities to over 15,000 high school students that graduate annually from the Ryan Group. To maximize the school's efficiency, she has been consistent in bringing strong process orientation by leveraging various methodologies, including those of IB and NABED. Dr. Snehal Pinto has completed her doctorate in education from the Nova Southeastern University, United States of America, a member of the advisory committee in the South Asia International Baccalaureate Schools Association. She was also the president of the Schools for Indian Schools Certificate and has been a member of the executive general body of the Council of the Indian School Certificate Examination. Dr. Snehal Pinto was recently awarded the ATL Teachers of Change Award for the state of Maharashtra for her exemplary leadership to galvanize innovation in the education. Thank you so much, Dr. Snehal. We are honored to have you here on this August forum, and we welcome you to share your thoughts and guide us through. Thank you.
Firstly, thank you for this invitation. It is my privilege to be invited to this platform organized by IRDI. And thank you, Mr. Aditya Kajrekar, Mrs. Renuka Deshmukh, Suresh and Deepa and Girish. So I want to thank each one of you and also welcome all the educators and uh, veterans in this field. There are people I'm sure on this platform that have years of experience my age. So I am the least of all to really come before you all to even address you all, but I am so grateful and humbled. And I thank my Lord Jesus for this opportunity that he's given. And as I present to you just some of our learnings that we have, gone through and experienced over this past 2 years now almost, I'd just like to put forth before you for your consideration. And we're here to really not just make sense of the present, but also shape the future. So here we go. It is my privilege to have each one of you on this platform. And I know each one of you is a destiny shaper, is an influencer, not the kind of influencers that we are exposed to on social media, but influencer of um, potential, of transformation. And we are the ones who shape the future, and the future shapes us. As educators, we shape the mindsets, the behaviors, the skills our students will carry with them into the future. And while this has been true, the global pandemic and the need to dismantle historically inequitable systems have heightened our collective sense of urgency to design more equitable and abundant futures with and for our students. This moment has made us realize that we cannot just prepare students for the future. In fact, we must help them develop their imagination, the agency, and the will to shape the future. As educators, we spend inordinate amount of time preparing our students for the future, as if we know what and how the future will unfold for them. But in an ever accelerating momentum of uncertainty and ambiguity, merely being prepared for the future feels so insufficient. But before we dwell into the future, let's make sense of our present context. Dear colleagues, the previous industrial revolutions liberated humankind from, say, animal power, made mass production possible, and brought digital capabilities to billions of people. However, the fourth industrial revolution represents a fundamental change in the way we live, work, and relate to one another. It is even more challenging. It is even challenging us to question about the way, about what it means to be human and how interaction has evolved. This new revolution can be considered as a new chapter in human development, as it is enabled by technological advances that correspond with those of the first, second, and the third industrial revolutions, and which are merging the physical, digital, and biological worlds in ways that create both a promise and a challenge, a peril. It is abundantly clear that as educators, it is high time we revisit or reinvent education, to reinvent ourselves and our students in order to keep up with the ever-changing world. As one of India's biggest K-12 education chain of schools, serving across different demographics, our design and delivery of educational experiences has undergone various iterations throughout this pandemic. And yet we ask ourselves constantly this question: in a world filled with more unknowns than knowns, how do we help our students not just be prepared, but be capable of envisioning and building the futures they want to bring to life? So with our constant experimentations and feedback from our teachers, our students and parents, and our collective reflections, and the vision to ignite a passion for lifelong learning among our students, I just wish to submit before you this framework of the 5 Cs, which proved to be a critical anchor for us during this pandemic, as well as which will help us to reimagine future and education itself. The first one is connection before content. We know that connecting with our learners is a priority. And yet, as we reflect on the pandemic, many would agree that establishing relationships and building community has been a challenge. These were extreme circumstances, and the constraints have been overwhelming. I'm reminded of a quote by Yale professor Dr. James Conner. He remarked, "No significant learning can occur without a significant relationship. We cannot carry out teaching if we miss out ways to connect with our learners. It is important to connect with our learners with empathy and intent listening. And even more important, to feel a child feel validated, affirmed, included, and mostly celebrated for meaningful learning to occur." Let's remember not to be a sage by the stage, but to be a guide by their side. The second one is curiosity. Curiosity isn't as we are encouraged to think. It is a gift that keeps on giving. It is a mental muscle that atrophies without regular exercise, and a habit that parents, schools, and workplaces need to nurture. In education, we tend to value a student's ability to answer our questions. But what may be more important now is their ability to ask their own questions, and more critically, their willingness to do so. Are we preparing our students to be curious learners? Is something we need to look at. Third one is creativity and innovation. We enter into the schools as individuals. We get taught how to be the same. We behave similarly, learn the same curriculum, and answer the same questions, and then get the same degree. We enter as individuals and then we leave the same. We would fail as educators if we do not make it our priority to harness their God-given talents and their unique distinctiveness. Creativity and innovation are skills that are still unique to human nature. Every kind of technological device that is in use today exists because someone was once creative enough to imagine it. The jobs that will still be looking for people in a few years will be the creative ones. With so many technological improvements, no one will be looking for an employee who does monotonous tasks, redundant work. A robot can do that and at much cheaper. However, people will be paid for their creativity, for their problem solving abilities, for their ability to creatively resolve complex situations. There is therefore an urgent need to be creative and innovative as educators more than ever in order to design and transact effective learning experiences for our children. The fourth one is collaboration. The pandemic may have limited our collaborative opportunities in person, and of course, social media and a few other factors have made us lose the ability to collaborate in some ways, meaningful collaboration. But this is what I realized. Collaboration is the key to reinvent ourselves. One of the most important skills in the 21st century that we're currently already through is and will be the ability to reinvent oneself constantly. Even with the best of technologies available free of cost, it is extremely difficult and profoundly lonely to do this alone. That's why we need to build diverse learning communities for ourselves as educators and for our children. The fifth one is a culture of lifelong learning. And I can keep going about this. We take new leaps in education and make it all possible. We can make it all possible, really, if we create a culture of lifelong learning. We need to get this very clearly, that lifelong learning is not a significant part of formal education. Rather, it's the other way around. Formal education is a part of lifelong learning. It is a mindset that as educators, we need to embrace. As educators, as an educator, I believe that the skill of critical thinking, collaboration, innovation, inclusive learning, creativity is truly possible when I, as a leader, make a culture of lifelong learning a strategic priority to truly nurture passionate and lifelong learners. I'm reminded, and I love this quote by Alvin Toffler: the illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And I just love this quote, and that's why I never tire of quoting it as and when I can. In order to revisit education and transform it, we need a new mindset and the willingness to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And lastly, there was an observation made by a professor called Harold Bloom, and he observed information is endlessly available to us, but where shall wisdom be found? In this age of information overload, we have to help our students understand their context and capabilities in a more holistic, interdisciplinary way than ever before. We need to teach our students to be adept time travelers, to make sense of the past in order to envision new futures, to be sense makers of like different types of information that keeps coming at them, to move seamlessly between what's known and unknown, to flex their imagination in expansive and ways to apply it, to become more critical and contextual thinkers. We need them to understand the equitable and ethical considerations of policy, of technology, and the power dynamics of systems and structures. And all capabilities must integrate emotional intelligence and mental well-being into our curriculum as a core investment in the future health and resilience of our students. Lastly, we are being shaped by this moment, and the outcomes of the choices we make will shape us for years to come. Dear educators, for us and our students are the futurists we need today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pinto. It was really wonderful. There's just because you were talking about the culture and because you're talking about creativity, creativity goes hand in hand with entertainment. I would like to share one of my experiences about one of your group of schools, which you might not be even knowing. 20 years back, I was on the Maharashtra State Board for boxing. I was a jury for Maharashtra State, and there was a state level tournament in Nagpur, and we were representing Thane district, which had about 12 talukas under that. And everyone was surprised to know that Ryan Group of Schools was the only school who had about 7 to 8 girls sent as boxers from entire Thane district. And I was so touched and I was so amazed with the culture that you have in your schools and the encouragement that you give to children. And it's just not that they had joined in for the sake of sport or for the sake of certificate that a lot of others do. They give their heart to it. So it really, I'm glad that I could share it with you, and I could tell everyone the culture that you people really have it on the ground level as well, not just what you're saying here.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Really privileged to meet you.
Thank you for this encouragement. Really
Thank you,
mean-
Dr. Thank you, Dr. Snehal Pinto. The way in which you have expressed the 5 Cs are really wonderful. Because see, many people talk about 5 Cs, but Cs are different. But the Cs which you have selected also very much interesting, and definitely it gives a very good substance to the field of education. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, I would just saying, ma'am, I would just add something to it. Suresh sir, also you would love it. The entire webinar, the entire website and everything digital that we have done here is done by the student of one of the RAN school groups. So we are indebted to you as such as well. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much. I will find out who the
Yes, definitely. Indrajit Singh is, and I'm in love with that guy, and I'm in love with the culture that you people have in your schools.
Thank you so much.
IDEA is Individual Resource Development International. It is a complete journey offered to the students to be prepared to lead a progressive life. This initiative is an effort by the like-minded professionals who have learned about life by their own experiences and by eventually realizing what seeds could have been sown to do better in life. We at IDEA Studio want to be the torchbearer in assisting the self-development of a child and help young minds see clear and a confident path to tread on. We want children, especially the ones in their teenage, to be well-groomed, independent, and judicious from an early stage in their lives. Yes, the program is primarily for the young, but there's a difference. The difference here is parent or adult participation and collaboration. Adults become the medium here. That is predominantly what our role is, right? To begin with, we make the children go through a series of tests while offering career guidance and counseling to them. These tests will be based on a combination of multiple intelligence theory, aptitude, and personality. These will help us determine not only the aptitude of a child based on his or her personality, but also their primary and secondary intelligences. Therefore, allowing us to give them a very clear and effective counseling as well as guide them to choose the right career paths. However, that is not what we stop at. We shall also be focusing on their grooming and confidence building. There are three programs which we have designed with the assistance of experts from around the world. We call them the Aram, Praram, and Parichay. Aram is for classes 5, 6, and 7, focusing on life skills, mind frame, knowledge quotient, interest, and hobbies. We believe this as the foundation for students to be better prepared as they have almost entered the adolescent phase or are about to. Next is Praram. Aram is the beginning and Praram is about being focused. This program is for the 8, 9, 10 standard students who have the desire to do something or are dealing with inner conflict which does not allow them to grow mentally, physically, emotionally, and socially. They only follow, which at this stage could seem to be true, but is only temporary and could actually affect the future, which is a very long, responsible, and a challenging phase. Let me help you understand this through numbers. Childhood is 0 to 10 years. Teenage phase is 11 to 19 years. Youth is 20 to 25. Human lifespan in a normal condition is at least 60 years. If we deduct the first 25 years as adults, the child needs to drive the next 35 years. Childhood was love, care, and guidance. Teenage was excess attention, love, peer pressure. Youth was love, expectations, and compulsions. All the three stages reflect concern and cooperation, but adulthood is responsibilities and independence, which many a times brings in fear, which compels us to be less experimental, lack the guts, and we become followers. So Prarabdha provides the foundation to build the potential through individual capacity and emotional stability. Parichaya is the last leg of program, where it is all about focus, setting goals, being enterprising, being human, being realistic, and connected to people, place, and emotions. As I mentioned before, these programs are realistic and might not be ideal. Realistic for it caters individuals. Every enrolled student will be cajoled, will be encouraged, and walk through along with the assigned counselors, along with their parents. Every dream is individual, and so is every individual. So, how can we offer a standardized program to one and all? There is no one shoe that fits all. We have to go by the child and their personalities. Standardization could be possible in offering academic information, training into vocational subjects, pursuing hobbies, etc. We will work on the individuality of a child through this program. It's like science is a subject, while scientist is the inventor. It's like dancing is learning steps. The performance is individual expression, the choreography, and the interpretation. In a factory, a product is manufactured but sold through innovative ideas. This interpretation, innovation, and experimenting is what we will help children explore and also learn during their journey with us at IRDI Studio. Thank you. On behalf of all of us at Team IRDI, I thank you all. Do visit us at www.irdistudio.com. We encourage you subscribe to our channel and keep liking the videos and share your comments and thoughts in the comment section. Thank you.